I've been seeing variations of this recipe on a variety of restaurants around Australia at the moment. So I figure if it's a crowd favorite, why not put together a little recipe so that you can make it at home. It looks like a lot of ingredients, but there's actually not that many steps. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put together our sauce. So into our saucepan, we're going to do about equal quantities of a gluten-free soy sauce. So after our soy, we have some black and some red vinegar. So you can find almost all of these ingredients at your local Asian supermarket and some specialty regular supermarkets. So it's almost equal quantities of these three ingredients. So this is a very sweet, sour, spicy sauce that we're going to give some time to reduce and get really sticky. So then we have some chili oil. So there's our spicy element. Then we have some soybean paste. So you can see that each of these alone is packed full of flavor. So we're combining all of them, which is going to be even more flavor. So we have our homemade chili sauce. So the recipe for that one is on our website. So again, now this is a sort of a more mild chili sauce. So we've got the heat in a variety of layers. Then we have some garlic, some ginger, some stevia. So this is our sweet element. And then we have a pinch of Szechuan peppers. So this gives you that sort of lovely numbing kind of heat. As many or as few as you like. So if that is your favorite kind of sensation, definitely add more. And then I just have some water. So this is going to help us be able to cook all of those ingredients. By the time that water has evaporated, we'll be at a really good consistency, a nice sticky consistency. So I'm going to pop that on a low simmer. You may need up to 20 minutes, in which time we can prepare our batter and our eggplant to make our crispy eggplant. Whilst our sauce is reducing, I've put my oil into my wok. So because it's a more narrow bottom, you need less oil, and it's going to allow us to cook. We'll still have to cook it in batches, but I'm going to bring that up to heat while we prepare our batter and our eggplant. So into a large bowl, have a mixture of potato and tapioca starch. So a nice fine starch gets a really crispy result. I've got some xanthan gum. So this is actually going to help bind everything and stick it together. We need a good pinch of salt. And then some cold water. So I'm going to use my stick blender to make sort of a bit of a frothy and smooth consistency. Now we can set it aside, get our eggplant ready, and then get into the fryer. So you can see that our batter is quite jelly-like, which is going to be great in order to stick to our eggplant. So I'll quickly pop that aside while we top and tail our eggplant. Now you could use the Lebanese, the long skinny eggplants for this if you like, but I quite like being able to get a bit of skin and a bit of flesh all in one. So I like to cut this into wedges. So from one eggplant, we're able to get about 24 pieces, and we'll probably be able to cook maybe 6 at a time. We'll see how we go in terms of crowding our oil. So I'm just going to grab a skewer just to test how hot our oil is. So at the moment it's not hot enough because I can't see a huge amount of bubble coming off that. So we'll test with the other end, and when we see that bubble, we know that we're ready to fry. So I'm going to put some of our eggplant into our batter. So we'll do 6 at a time like we said. We're going to cook them until they're sort of lightly golden. And because it's such a thin piece, we know that it's going to be cooked through in about the same amount of time. It could be sort of up to 4-5 minutes, but I'd say it'll be more likely 2 to 3. So I want you to keep an eye on it. This is not a dish that we're gonna walk away from while our sauce is cooking and we've got hot oil on the stovetop. Ooh, I can really start to smell that sauce coming together. So you can make this sauce sort of a day ahead if you wish. It's only going to get better the longer it sort of steeps. And then I've got a few other little toppings to dress this with right at the end. So we've got some toasted sesames, some spring onions, and I'll just slice up those chilies while our eggplant begins to fry. So our eggplant are on our last tumble in that hot oil, so I'm going to start plating up. Now you could toss these if you knew that you're going to be serving it straight away. You could toss these in this sauce, but I'm going to spread a little bit on the bottom and then I'm going to drizzle a little bit over the top once we've tumbled our eggplant over. You can see that the sauce has become quite jammy, very sticky. So sweet, sour, spicy, all of the good things. Now we've had a bit of coughing and spluttering in the kitchen whilst we've been cooking this, because as the vinegars as we start to inhale those aromas, it can get quite fumy. So if you need to open a window, excellent. I'm just gonna drain these as I take them out. Piling them. We want a nice bit of height on our eggplant. And if you can, sort of keep it in a way that people can take a piece. I don't mind if it moves as you get stuck into it, because you sort of like to have a little bit of action during your eating. So a little bit more sauce over the top of that, and then we'll garnish. And there's some at the bottom for you to wipe into for the sauce lovers among us. We've got some chili over the top. Instantly indicates that this dish has got a bit of spice. Some toasted sesames, another element of crunch factor. And then for a bit of freshness and color, some spring onions right at the end there. So there is my crispy eggplant with a sweet and spicy sour sauce. This is one that I think you're really going to enjoy. Can't wait to hear what you think.